Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Board Game Specialist. I am Melanie.
And I'm Carla.
And we are on episode 86, and we're doing our top two-player games. Now, not big games that plays well at two-player, because I think we did that last year for, like, Valentine's special. But we're doing two-player only games. Now, I might have bent the rules a little bit on that one, but we'll get to that.
And we got to say why we're doing the two-player only is because this is our second year anniversary.
That's right, our 2-year anniversary. I forgot that's why we decided we're doing this.
You forgot our anniversary.
Oh my god, I'm a terrible co-host. I forgot our anniversary.
I was waiting all day for flowers, but I didn't get them.
I didn't get any flowers either, by the way. All right, and for this, because of our big special occasion, we decided to bring in a guest. So we have JT from the Flipside of Board Game. Hi, JT. Welcome to the Board Game Specialist.
Thank you very much. If I'd have known it was your anniversary, I would have shipped flowers to both of you.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't, so I'm happy to be here.
And before we get started, also, I just want to bring up our sponsor, which is Games and Couples, which is part of Ashrat online counseling services. And they do couple counseling utilizing board games because they recognize that cooperative play specifically is a great opportunity to kind of apply the principle for the Gottman method couples therapy in a casual, relaxing, and fun way. So be sure to check them out. We'll have their link attached to this as well. So let's get started with our episode. Now, before we start talking about the games we've played lately, JT, you've just had a pretty nice gaming experience.
Indeed. Just got back from the Dice Tower cruise. Unfortunately, back to the real world, I suppose.
Yeah.
But we had a blast. We climbed a waterfall that was 600 feet long and 150 feet tall, and you get to climb up through the waterfall, and that'll wear you out.
Was that in Jamaica? The waterfall?
That was in Jamaica, yep. Yeah. Dunn's River Falls.
Fun. Yeah.
Yep. And then down through, we went through the caves as well. And then we also booked a couple spots on private resorts, so they're private club resorts, so that we had nice beach on different spots, and ate tons of good food. Had way too much food on the cruise.
Oh, it's
got to lose about 10 pounds of that cruise food, but other than that, they're pretty good. And played a bunch of games. So
I would hope that you would play games on the Dice Tower cruise, but
it's harder than you think because you got to wake up. You got to time in food. You got to try to get a game in. You got to time in more food. You got to try to get a game in. You got to time in more food. And that's just on the days when you're at sea. So, but we had a blast. The Dice Tower does such a good job. Tom does such a good job of putting everything on. They had their game shows and their karaoke and all the good stuff.
Oh, that's where I would be.
It was a blast.
I'd be at the karaoke. Yeah. Old time rock and roll is my go-to.
There you go. They do it every year. Jason has it twice a week or something.
Oh, fun. So how long is the cruise? How long are you on the cruise for?
7 days this time. Last year it was 6 days. This time it was 7 days. So Sunday to Sunday.
Nice.
We had 4 stops, but actually we didn't get off in Haiti. We just stayed and played games. Haiti's more of a touristy trap, little thing. But the other 3 were fantastic. So
yeah.
Nice.
We spent all day in Jamaica and I can't think of the other ones, Labadee, and Coco Cay. So we did all those things. It was awesome.
It sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds amazing. That would be quite the event to put together.
Yeah, absolutely. Funny enough.
Carla,
go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Funny enough, right after our cruise, our server was telling us they were worried about the cruise after our cruise because we're all board gamers, right? And we only had they had 800 people there were board gamers. So, but there's almost 5,000 people on the ship. But so we had, 20%. But the guy was telling us right after our cruise gets off, the next cruise, there's some group of bodybuilders that rents the entire ship, the whole cruise ship. And they put 4,000 bodybuilders on there, and they build a gym with DJs and stuff, and just have this week-long
just
party.
This workout.
Yeah. That's a lot of testosterone.
Yeah, right. I think I'd rather the board games.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But
Oh, that's funny. There's a cruise for everything, I guess.
There's a cruise for everything.
There is.
Yeah, but that would be quite an event to put together. Because Carla, you have coming up in a couple weekends here, like Car Treat.
Yep, I have my
And
little
how is that
convention.
put together? Like that's.
Oh, it's kind of easy now. This is my third one, so I was gonna do 3 a year, kind of like every 3-4 months, but I decided to just do it twice a year. So this is the third one I'm doing, and so it's kind of like clockwork now. I have one friend who does the whole schedule on Warhorn that people sign up for games.
Yeah,
and I mean it's at the restaurant, so it's super easy. I just send out the menu. Like next Monday, I'll send out the menu, and everyone will give me their food orders. And then it just works very smoothly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a small convention. I think I told you, JT, before that I hold there, where it's call it all inclusive, where it includes all the food and snacks. So nobody has to bring any food if they don't want to. And they just play games. And then I kind of schedule in a lunch and a supper. So we kind of break a bit and then serve the food. And then we get back to gaming. And then we have.
Is this a one-day deal or is it multiple
Saturday,
days?
Sunday.
It's nice.
So we go Saturday.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, we go Saturday 9 to midnight, and then Sunday we go 9 to 5. So yeah, but looking forward to it. It's coming up less than 2 weeks now.
Yay! And then next week or the next weekend, Saturday. So in 2 days from when we're recording,
your game day.
Yeah, I'm starting like the Acme area game day, so it's going to be at the Acme Legion. Because I approached them, they say like, we'd love to host that for you. Can we cater it too? So then it's going to be great. There'll be like a concession, and then the community is invited to come and play games. Yeah, so it's the first one. I don't know what the attendance is going to be like. I have a few families that's reached out that'll be coming, and so it'll be good. And then hopefully grow from there, because I've recently moved to Acme. This is going to be my second year in Acme here, so trying to grow like a local group, which has been going pretty well, but then just to kind of get the word out there. But Acme is a tiny village, 650 people, so
you should be able to get them all. Just take them all.
Yeah, exactly.
Get them all.
Turn them all in.
Community event. Right. Don't tell them what it is. Lock the doors.
Yeah, there you go.
You got enough
games.
Drink
the Kool-Aid.
You got enough games in your room.
Populate. I have enough game for everybody that lives in Acme.
They have their own.
You got one
That's
for everyone.
Yeah, they used to tease me when we moved here. It's like, geez, Mom, you almost have enough games for everybody that lives here. And now I do.
Very nice.
Oh, that's crazy. All right, so let's talk a bit about some of the games we've played lately. Carla, what have you been playing?
Well, before I talk about a game I played, I just have to mention this because we did our cozy game episode last week.
Yeah.
And of course, I watch a lot of YouTube content creators. And there was one, literally the day we posted it, I think, or the day we recorded, it was the coziest campaign game ever. And I was like, really? What? I got to see this now. And I'm not going to say what it is because it's going to be a surprise because I haven't got it yet. But I ordered this game and I'm looking so forward to it. It is a story-driven game, not something that I'm like ever. Yeah, but it's
that explains the text you've been sending me.
Yes.
Okay.
So just look next episode. I'll tell you about it because it could be here tomorrow. Because it's in Calgary. Usually when my deliveries arrive in Calgary, they come to Red Deer the next morning. And that's how I know that it's going to be. But I don't really do story-driven or kind of RPGs. And I've kind of, wanted to try. This wasn't an RPG one, but it's a very just story-driven. There's actually no win condition. Like what?
Oh,
that's all.
You just
that's
go
weird,
through
right?
the story.
It's like you kind of go through the story. You kind of know when you end it, and then you could start it again. And it's like you have different what's it called? Like where you choose like those books that we used to read as kids.
Choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah, choose your own adventure. But it has mechanics in it, and each character plays differently. So it's It's very interesting. I'll tell you guys after we record, but for
Nice,
the
okay.
I think I know what it is, but I'm
it?
not
yeah,
sure.
okay, yeah.
I think I
but
do.
anyway,
I have no idea.
Can't wait for this to come. So
Nice.
No
excited.
kidding.
But
Should
I
do
don't
like
need
Ashley
any
and
more
hunt them
campaign
down.
games.
yeah, I feel like Ashley being excited for games. She's usually like, she'll
Our
send
friend
out all
Ashley
these...
will try keep the tracker, and then she'll go and meet the
chase
driver
down
wherever they are.
Really?
Chase down the guy.
She's
think our
very
drivers around
enthusiastic
here-
for her games.
Yeah, they'd keep it another week if we tried that around here.
Oh, yeah.
It would go to package jail or something.
Package jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
I've had stuff in there before.
Mhm.
Anyway, one of the games I've been playing is
Yes.
I'm really into deduction. You know that, Mal.
Yes.
And I had played The Search for Lost Species. And I had waited for that for a long time because everyone had told me, oh, you should try Search for Planet X. But I don't love the space theme of it. So I played Search for Lost Species. Well, then when I got that one, I needed to get the other one. So I did get Search for Planet X. And I played it a bunch of times solo. I played it, me and Cherry played it a couple times the other night. And I just love it. And it's very similar to the Search for Lost Species. It's slightly simpler, but it's still very thinky. I don't know. Have you ever played any deduction games, or do you like that genre, JT?
I do like that, and I actually have Search for Planet X over there, and I haven't played
do
it
you?
yet. So
You have it?
that's
Oh,
a
it's
shelf of
good.
shame item. But
It is
yeah,
good.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have all these sectors, and there's actually two sides of the board. So one side will have 12 sectors, and the other side will have 18. So we tried both. And basically the bigger side is just, it takes your game a little bit longer, but it's the same kind
gotcha.
of thinking, right? So, but I would try it on the 12 first, and it's totally a fine game. It's not like it's too simple or anything. And so what you have in all these sectors is you either will have a comet, a gas cloud, an asteroid, a dwarf planet, or it could appear empty, or you could have planet X. And there's only one of those things in each sector. And so each of them will have certain rules, like these might not be the rules, but let's just say like the gas clouds want to be beside each other, and there's like 3 of them or 4 of them. Another one might be they will be within 3 sectors of each other. So there's all these like
cool.
different kind of rules that, you know, can help you when you find something. You're like, okay, if this is here, according to these rules, that can't be there and it can't be here, kind of thing.
Yep.
So what you do is on your turn, you will choose an action, and the action is either surveying, which is you get to survey like a amount of sectors. So you could survey 1 to 3 sectors or 1 to 6. And then you could say like, I'll survey 1 to 6 for comets. And then you use an app. So everybody can use their own phone or device, or you can share one and just pass it around. But like I will say, okay, 1 to 6, I'm searching for comets. And so then I click it and it'll say there are 0 comets in that, or there are 2, but it won't say where they are, right? So you're like, okay, I've narrowed it down already, half the board. I know there's 2 here, or there's none there. And that gives me some good information. The other thing you can do is just do research. And then there's a list of different things you can research, you know, which are typically 2 things at a time. And it'll give you another rule about those things. Like one might not be the opposite of the other from the sector, like things like that. And then the other thing you can do is, now I can't remember what it's called, but you actually place down a token where you literally, it'll tell you what's in that sector. It won't tell you if planet X is there, because planet X will always appear to be empty. So it'll either tell you there's like, you know, an asteroid or a comet, or it'll say it appears to be empty. So you know, okay, it's either empty or there's planet X, or it'll tell you there's something there. And then you move your pawn depending on the time you've spent. So like if you get better information, it's going to cost you a lot more time. So you're going to move way ahead. And that way people can do smaller actions to catch up to you before it's your turn next. And then the board will slide as you move around the board, and like kind of the center part. And it comes to these little spots where you can do surveys, it might be surveys in Lost Species, but it's the same kind of thing where when you do have information, you can put down these tokens where you're like, I know this is here, I know this is there, and then they kind of slide down after time, and then you'll check them, and if you were right, then you get to be the first one that discovered that, and it gives you a point. And then at the end, each of like the planet, the comets and whatnot are worth different amounts of points. So you can win the game without even finding Planet X if you've discovered these objects more so than anybody else. Just like, it's very similar to you played the Search for Lost Species with me, so it's very similar to that, but just a slightly simpler.
Because Lost Species doesn't rotate or anything.
No, you move around the map in that one.
Right.
So this one, you just move around in a circle, but you don't actually have to move to the sector that you're surveying, kind of thing. So
okay.
It's really neat, though. And it's a cool, like, solo, because you just have to beat an AI. And you'll do a turn, they'll do a turn, and then they will drop, like, down actual realizations too, only if they know it for sure. And then it's really neat though. You should try it. You should get it off your shelf of shame, JT. It's really good. I love it.
I've always been interested in it.
I don't know. Like, I like them both, but I like the theme of the Lost Species and moving around. I would say if I had an hour, I would do the Search for Planet X. If I had 2 hours, I would do Search for Lost Species. It's probably almost double the time from the standard game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes me think I would like Planet X better.
Yeah, because it doesn't have the cards that add the points at the end, and you don't go into town and kind of all those things. So it is a slightly, quite a bit quicker on the base game of it. Yeah.
Cool.
What about you guys? What have you been playing?
Yeah, JT, what have you been playing?
Well, I played 22 different games on the cruise, some of them multiple times. So that's not too bad. Like I said, some of them multiple times. My favorite game on the cruise is not a game that's out yet. In fact, it hasn't kickstarted yet. But Carla, this is going to be one that I believe that you're going to want to keep your eyes on. And that is called Galactic Cruise.
Oh, I was going to say that, yes.
Galactic Cruise. Awesome. We played that. Kinston Key Games. Art by Ian O'Toole. It looks a lot like, it has that same style as kind of Kanban in a lot of ways. Games, nice. Like Lacerda games. And somebody said when I first started playing it, I'm like, hey, this is kind of like Lacerda Light. And by the time, and I love those games. And by the time I got into it, I'm like, no, this is not Lacerda Light. This is Lacerda like right on the button. Like this is, right on line. This is definitely close to a 4 probably on like BGG or something, it's good. There's so many options you can do. You start out with 2 workers, and they're kind of unupgraded workers. So they just do basic actions. You can get 2 more that do bigger actions as you go along. But there are 6 worker placement spots in the middle of the board. Plus you have a rocket. So the theme behind the game is you are all cruise lines. You are creating rockets with certain modules inside them that different people like. There are passengers that like leisure. There's passengers that like adventure. There's passengers that are family passengers, and they all have cool meeples with like screen printed stuff on them. So they're different colors, and one looks like a little family, and the other one's got like a margarita or martini glass, and they line up in this queue on the side of the board, basically at the travel agency. So your job is to go out and on these 6 worker placement spots, and it's very modular because within the 6 worker placement spots, there's 12 tiles. Now you can put them out in the standard setup, or you can randomize them and, make those decisions even more difficult, because you'll have right now when you set up with the basic actions, the 2 actions that are dealing with cards are together, but in the next game they might be completely separate, or the 2 actions dealing with going to the travel agency are together, but they might be separate. But you have your own player board, and you have to collect food, oxygen, and fuel. Obviously, you need all 3 of those things to fire off your cruise. So you're collecting these resources, but your max is 2 at the beginning. So you have to upgrade your abilities, and by upgrading your abilities, something that I haven't seen in another game is you have these little factories, or I don't remember exactly what they call them, but the six worker placement spots in the middle are kind of in a chain. They're in a circle. And if you upgrade, you have the option to take your upgrade token and put it between two of those. Or there's several like special abilities that are along the top of the building, along the top. Like, you can pay one less fuel to fire your rocket off, or you can, it's cheaper to hire. Need less ads to hire people or bring people to your cruise. Not hire them, but to bring them to your cruise. So you can, but if you put it between two of the worker placement spots, which already have two possible actions, when you go to a worker placement spot, you can do two things. So you can do the same action twice, or you can do one of each.
Nice.
But once you're upgraded and you put this thing in between, now you can do the two that you set it on, or the two that are on the other side of your factory. So now you have 4 choices, and you get 2 options. And if you had a factory on both sides, you would be able to use all 6 of those actions possible. If you don't have, because there's a bumping mechanism. So if I put my worker on the cruise liner, spot, and somebody needs to use it, they'll bump me off. And anytime they bump your worker off, you get a bonus. So there's also a ability that if I use a spot, but I don't want these actions, and Carla has a factory. The factory is not the right word, but if she has a connection to the next spots, I can pay her resources so that I can use those actions over there. So it's a very tight board. There's only 6 spots, so people are getting bumped and getting this nice reward. When you get the upgraded workers, when you bump somebody, they get a reward, and you get a reward. So it's pretty cool that way.
Sounds awesome.
The craziest thing is you now build this space shuttle, and for every, it's not for every 2, but in between 2 of the modules, your space shuttle will just start with an engine and the cap, just like the dome of the rocket. And you can put up to 3 modules in there. In between every 2 modules, there's half of a worker placement spot. So once you put 2 modules together, then you can now fit a passenger there. So if you have 3 modules, you can now fit 2 passengers on your rocket. And so what you do is you go to the travel agency, and there's multiple different trips or tours that can be done. And one might say costs 3 fuel, and it goes to a purple place, which is leisure for the party people. And then it goes to an adventure place, and then it has a day at space. Just like on a cruise line, you have a day at sea.
Nice.
Okay? So you have all 3 of these spots. So you go over there. You basically say, this is the cruise that I'm taking. You take over that cruise, and then you try to entice with ads people into line for your cruise. So you go over there, you pick a cruise, you get people in line, and then on your next turn or whenever you want to do it, you can take one of your meeples, one of your workers, and you put them on your space shuttle instead, and now they become the captain. The trick is every turn, that captain's going to be going to spots, 1 spot at a time. So if I had a purple spot and then a yellow spot, or then a adventure spot and then a day at space, that means for 3 turns I can't use that worker. So I'm either down to my 1 worker, or if I've upgraded and got the other ones. And they start out at costing you 12 coins or 12 money. And then as you upgrade your board, they get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. So it's really hard to buy them at the very beginning of the game if you can wait for those bigger workers. So it's a really neat mechanism there. So you put your guys in the ship, and if the modules match the colors, so if I put 2 purple guys, my first rocket I made with all purple, like I wanted a complete leisure party, right? And I put 2 purple guys in there, and then I sent them out into space, and I just did my first one was a small one. So that on a space day, if they're in the right locations, then they make you rewards, or they give you resources or money or points if they're in the right spaces. So they get to stay on the ship, they enjoy what they're doing, and you get stuff from that, whether it be resources or points or cards. And then when they go to the next space, if I take them to a purple planet, then I get to take however many purple workers I have there. I have to spend 1 ad for purple workers. I have to spend 2 ads for if I take an adventure worker or whatever else. And then I'm basically taking however many people I got there after I spend my ads, and I'm multiplying that by a multiplier on the board for victory points. And I'm also getting a one-time or a full game benefit, like a new power for the rest of the game.
Oh, neat.
Kind of like I'm trying to think. Well, I have a game on my brain, but I can't think of it right now. But anyways, so you're trying to manage all of this. You're trying to get more rockets. You're trying to get so where you can hold more resources, and you're trying to fire them all off. Now, if you get too many rockets, a rocket that you don't actually send on a trip is -5 points at the end of the game.
Oh.
So you can't just load up. And then there's upgrades that can make you where you can put 4 modules in a rocket instead of 3. And there's upgrades that make your little workers the same as your big workers. There's just all this cool stuff going on. The components, like I said, they're all like round wooden pieces, very much like Kanban's components. But it's just a super fun game, super thinky. I think, not that it matters, but I think my end score was like 100 something points, and I think I did pretty good. I won the game, but that's my kind of game. So when you play,
Nice.
you know how that is. You play your kind of game, and but it's just really cool. It's really thinky. Upgrading player boards, and then having cards, just like in Apiary or other games like that. That you can get these cards that have really cool benefits on them. One-time use type of thing. So
and this
just
one's
lots of stuff going on.
Right?
It's coming to Kickstarter, I think, in March.
Yeah.
Yep.
These are first-time designers too. These guys.
It is beautiful. It's amazing. It's a great game.
Oh wow!
I've heard they play tested the crap out of this game. Like they've just went
That's just
all
good.
out and,
Well, mostly a game like that, because I mean, Kanban, like you have the different, but you can't really, like they all interact with each other so much. Like like you need to get the card design before like it just. I mean, and it's logical. Like it makes sense when you play it. But
it flows so well.
Yeah.
No,
so
I'm
it sounds like everything kind of affects everything else.
So I say it's more like Kanban than like Weather Machine, right? Weather Machine, they just kind of scrambled Kanban and did a bunch of stuff. I like I like the direct path of Kanban, and this very much has that same direct path because you know what you need to do. I need to get this for my rockets. I need to get fuel. I need to get, and you constantly are adjusting that to what people are taking. And how you're upgrading. So it's really cool.
Awesome.
Neat. It sounds interesting for sure. How big, like I'm picturing something big. Like how big is it on the table?
That's a big. Yeah.
It's not a giant box though, right? Like it's not
a giant box. No, but it's a big board.
It's a big game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm trying to think size-wise. I mean, I think Kanban's board, I haven't looked at it lately, but it's a Wonderland size of board. I know, it's right there.
See it right there.
Where it belongs. But that's definitely one of my favorite games. But it's really cool. It's got really cool themes. So actually, I watch crowdfunding stuff all the time. And when I saw that coming out and a couple people talking about it, I'm like, it's not a theme that I really am interested in until you play it. And then it's really cool. Enticing those people onto your ships and everything's really cool.
That's neat.
So
very cool.
Well, Mel, what about you? What do you?
Well, I had a game delivered that I had kickstarted a little while back, so got that to the table because that's just exciting, and that's Forge. And Forge is actually designed by Wes Woodbury, who is local. When I lived in Disbury, he was 15 minutes away. So I had played. Actually, I kind of started really following him when he did his game Legend of Novus, which is like by far my favorite fantasy themed board game. Because it really has I used to read a lot of fantasy novel in high school, and Legends of Novus is like a fantasy novel in a board game. It's great. So I've been following him a lot since, and then when he had Forge out, I borrowed the prototype and got to play it already before, and now I have my own copy, so we played it. And basically you're like a medieval blacksmith, and you're running your forge, and you're kind of taking these different contracts, and you like you'll have the commons contract, you'll have the military contracts, and then the royal contracts, and then the ones will utilize more wood as like the base products, and then the other one would be more like iron, and then the royals will be more with gems and jewels and stuff. So, and then you got to collect the resources to be able to complete these contracts, and then those will give you points. And then you get your workers, because you have your main blacksmith, and then you have a couple of workers to start, and then you get another one, and then you get a fourth one eventually. But you can also train them and get special abilities that those workers will be able to do. And you get, like, it's worker placement where you'll send them to go and get the resources, and everywhere the worker can go, the blacksmith also could go, and the blacksmith can do a little bit more at those locations. So, and then we're playing, and it's just like, oh, I needed to do this, but you went there and blocked me out, and then I could send my blacksmith, but he's already busy over there, so it kind of has an interesting aspect to that. Like you do feel like you get into each other's way. And then the components, like the wooden bits, like you have the little forge hammers, and you get 6 of them. One of them is going to be to keep track of like the play order, and then the other 5 is to complete goals, and the first one to complete the 5th goal triggers the end of the game as well, and there's different goals that you can complete. It was just so neat. Like I had played and really enjoyed the prototype, and then we got to play it again, and I really enjoyed my play again. And he got so frustrated because he had the plan and he was about to go get this goal, and then I had trained one of my workers, and we haven't seen the game, so we don't know like tons, so we don't know all the cards that are out there. And then one of my workers was, I could trash a worker, so he's gone, and I know I'm one worker down, but then I can place one of my forge hammers on one of the goal without having completed the goal. But I did it at the end, so it triggered the end of the game, and he's like, not yet! So he was like, I had a plan! But
that's when you trigger the game. Yep.
That's why I was like, I know, that's why we needed to end it now. Mm-hmm. But it was just such a kind of, it's just so satisfying. It kind of reminds me a bit of Lords of Waterdeep with the collecting your cubes and then kind of completing the different missions or goals that you get in that one. So it has like a loosely like that aspect to it, and I really enjoyed it. So that was Forge. It was great.
Awesome.
Nice. Now, when you just got your Kickstarter?
Yeah, that one just arrived like last week or the week before.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I was like, I don't kickstart often because I'm out of control as it is without really being in Kickstarters. So I always forget to go and complete the pledge manager stuff. So do you I always get the warning emails like, okay. We need you to do this. So I think my copy was delayed a little bit.
Oh, jeez.
And that was why, a self-sabotage. I was like, I thought I had done that. Well, okay. I'm not very good at kickstarting, but yeah.
I got Unsettled in right before I left on the cruise, and I got Fractured
nice.
Sky in like 2 days ago, right after I got back. So,
which was the second one you said?
Huh?
Fractured
second one?
Sky.
Oh,
Fractured Sky.
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that one around. Nice.
We're gonna play it tomorrow on the stream.
Nice.
I guess, or we're gonna play it yesterday on the stream, according to when you guys bring this video out. But
right.
Yeah, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Perfect. So, let's get started with our top. Now we're doing top 5. Normally we do top 9s, but because we're 3 of us, we're gonna do top 5, and we're doing our top 5 2-player only games. So Carla, do you want to start us off? What's your number 5?
Sure. All right. My number 5. This was tough to cut down to 5 because
it was actually.
How am I going to leave
tough.
that one off? But I picked my number 5 as. Then this is a shocker for me because I don't even like the big game of this. Well, it's not. I don't like it. I don't love it. And this is Tokaido Duo, made in 2022. I had Tokaido And it's like a very zen game. You kind of walk like you're going along a rondel that you can't go back on, and just collect things, and you're basically just trying to out collect everybody else. This is similar, but it's funny because it's a 2-player version, and you have a little map that you kind of will crisscross around, and you can totally block each other at spots, and you can see what your partner needs, because there's 3 boards that you have that you will collect things, and you can see what they are at, so you know what to stop them from doing and what to like do yourself. It's very simple. But I was shocked at how much I liked this game. It's the 2-player version, like it's made by Anton Bowser in 2022. Now he has also was a duo in making Seven Wonders Duel, and I believe that is the better game of the big game, in my opinion. That one just didn't make my list, only because I haven't played it in a while, and I actually love that game. But he did the same thing in this one, where it's like he somehow took it and made it a better game in a 2-player game. It's just so neat, because you have like these different characters, an artist, and I'm blanking on the 2 other characters, but they each do different things, and they each move different ways on this little tiny map. And it's just so neat how you crisscross the other player in this map, and you can block them from going to sell this item because they're going to make big money. And you can kind of leave your guy there and move your other characters. And so then they have to like keep waiting and doing other things. And it's just like, I played it with John a couple times, and he beat me twice. And it just frustrated the heck out of me, because I'm like, how did that happen? How did I let you get this and that? So I'm like, okay, let's do it again. And it's such a cool little game. I overlooked this for a while because I just got this like a month or 2 ago, and it was a 2022 release, but I thought I didn't really love the big game. Like, I loved the look of it, but it just didn't do much for me other than just just a set collection. But this one has a real back and forth to it. And that's my number 5, Tokaido Duo.
That's when you say best 14 out of 27, please.
That's right. You do what you need to
stop
do.
It.
One more.
And then when you get the lead, that's it. We're never playing again.
Yeah. That's what John will do sometimes. He'll have to play a game until he wins, and he's good.
That's funny. How about you, JT? What's your number 5?
My number 5 is a game designed by Andreas Steger and produced by Cosmos in 2012, and that is Targi.
Yes.
Targi is a great 2-player game. You have basically a small grid of cards. There's 9 cards in the center, so what does that put? A 5x5 grid, basically. The outside cards are all worker placement spots. And you're not only doing the action on the card that you place on, but you also get the action and possibly the card of the intersections within the grid. You're being blocked by a robber that moves around and likes to steal stuff from you, and you're also being blocked by the other players' tokens or people. So there's 2 types of cards. One is resources, and the other one is the set collection type card with different not biomes is not the right word, but different types of landscapes that you set collect those, and as you do, you get points for that. So it just has such a great mechanism in the way that board moves and modifies. Every time you take a resource card out of the middle, then it is replaced by the opposite type of card. So, and with the robber and everybody else moving around and blocking, there's just a lot of interesting choices.
Yeah, I do like Targi quite a bit. Yeah, have you played Barcelona? I found Barcelona is like reverse Targi.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
no,
yeah,
I haven't
you have
played
the
Barcelona.
actions. You haven't played
Yeah,
it
because instead of being like where you go on the outside triggers what's on the inside, it's like reverse. Where you place yourself on the inside triggers what's on the edge.
The outside, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, did you play Nova Roma?
No.
Nova Roma has the same kind of thing, but as your meeples line up, you get stronger and stronger powers based on how many you have in a row. So
neat. Well, great choice. Targi is such a good game.
Yes.
My number 5 is Wingspan Asia. Now, because Wingspan Asia is a standalone 2-player game, you can add it on with Wingspan and make it an expansion, and it actually adds more players. But then if you're doing it that way, you have like 2 separate games going combined but separate. So I've never played it that way, and I've just played Wingspan Asia 2 players, and most of the time I've played Wingspan 2 players. So, but the Asia one is very interesting. I mean, it's Wingspan. It is the game of Wingspan. It's the same kind of engine building with the birds and the goals that you have, and then, with how big they are, different things like that. It definitely plays the exact same way. But then you also have this kind of secondary board where as you complete stuff, you can put this half of your like yin yang onto this board. And depending on the bird that you put, like you can either put it so that it matches the terrain, or it matches the size of the bird, or matches one of the characteristic of your bird, and you put that on the board. And I got so concentrating on my birds and the engine I'm building on my own board that I kind of completely forgot about what's going on this secondary board, and Lee just slaughtered me on there. And I was like, oh yeah, we're trying, because you're trying to create like a cluster, and mine were just like spread out across every corners, not touching each other at all. And we had like a cluster of like 8 of them. I'm like, man, that's like, oh yeah. And then you can't just be like, okay, well, I'll put it there because it needs to match an element of, I was like, well, I didn't put anything that would match that. And you have your end of round goals, and then it could kind of affect on what you're doing over there as well, which kind of makes you like, okay, well, I'm going to concentrate on doing that, but now none of them are touching either. It just created a really neat kind of side element to the Wingspan. And it was great. I really enjoyed it. And that's my number 5, Wingspan Asia, created in 2022 by Elizabeth Hargrove.
Nice.
Hargrave, yeah. I didn't even consider this one for a 2-player, but yeah, good pick. All right. Well, my number 4 is Beer and Bread, and this is by Scott Alms in 2022. And I just love this one. I tried it once with you, Mel. You've played it?
Yes.
It's a card game, but you're also managing some resources as well. And you have these little barns that will hold maybe 10 resources in them. And you can collect them, you can play cards to collect resources. But if you ever can't fit them in your barn, then they go to the other player. And if they have room for them, they can take them all. And it's kind of neat that way, because if you can plan it where you'll spend like all of yours to complete a card just when they're going to do another harvest, or I'm not sure what they call it, and they just need one thing, but you always have to activate all the cards you have laid down to harvest, then that stuff is all coming to you. You can also play the card as a I'm going to say end game scoring, or a bonus card, or it can give you more room in your barn. It can give you all kinds of things. There's different sections on the bottom that'll do different things. You can play it as you're making either beer or brewing beer, or baking bread, and you have 2 slots for those cards, so you'll put them face down, and you can only ever have one in each one until you clear it away. There is a card that will upgrade that, and it'll allow you to have more. But the neat thing is, at the end of the game, you score the lowest of the 2 of your baked bread and your brewed beer. So you can't just go hard on one, because you're going to score the lowest. You have to keep them even. And it's just a real clever game of his. Very different from other games he's done, because he does
very different from the Tiny Epic series, for sure.
And then the Airland and Sea, or
yeah,
that big one, but a very different type of mechanic. Almost feels like an Uwe Rosenberg game. And that's a compliment from coming from me. But
Agreed.
it's just awesome. And it's a very quick playing game. I'm sure we were done in maybe 40 minutes. I'm sure we could get it done, in easily under half an hour. And it's one of those where it would just be like, let's do it again, because it's just so satisfying how you play, and it's so quick, and there's not really any downtime because you do your actions really fast. But yeah, it's awesome. That's my number 4, Beer and Bread.
Yeah, no, good pick. It does, like, playing that one, you wouldn't think, because when you play from one tiny epic to another tiny epic, you always have, like, the token that keeps track of your resources. So you see that from game to game. It has
piece,
like, it has that familiarity to it from one game to game. But playing this game, if you hadn't told me this was a Scott Alms game, I wouldn't have got that at all.
Either. Although I don't know about Ireland, quite a bit of I haven't played that one, but I just assumed it wasn't similar. But he is doing a bunch of the Button Shy games too. So a lot of, like, he'll do some solo, which are, I really enjoy those too, but they're quite different from his tiny epics as well. Nice. So he's very, what's the word? Like, wide ranged of
versatile,
the types of, versatile. But
very nice. Yeah. Good pick. Mm-hmm. All right, JT, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is a game from Scott Alms from 2022 called Beer and Bread.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's pretty funny. I will add, I really love the cards where the wet season, or whatever they call it, the wet year, you have to do a draft back and forth. There's a lot more resources, but you have to, sometimes you're drafting because I don't want you to get this card. Sometimes you're drafting because I really want these resources. Sometimes you want to keep that bottom deal. And the coolest thing about the wet season is you're keeping cards knowing that you're going to use them again in the dry season. So sometimes a card's not so great right now, but it might be even better for you in the dry season. So it's something you keep, because when you go to the wet season, you pick up any cards you harvested, you fill your hand to 5, and you also get a communal thing of 3 cards. But during the dry season, you don't change hands. So you're stuck with whatever you have, plus however that community card works. So I really love that mechanic. But Beer and Bread is a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good choice.
Well, yes. Carla approves.
Yeah.
All right. My number 4 is One Deck Dungeon. That one was published in 2016 by Chris Klesick. And I brought this one when I went on a trip back home to New Brunswick. And me and my cousin, because my cousin was in med school and he was off. So he's like, okay, nothing med, like nothing school. Let's just de-stress. And we played this game. And we got together every day for like a week. And we started it at noon and we played till midnight for a week straight, again and again and again. And like by the end of the vacation was done, we had gone through all the scenarios, beat all the monsters, and lost plenty as well. But this was just one game that I played so much, and for some reason it just appealed to me so much. And all the characters, because you play as one of like the fantasy characters, and all the characters are like female roles, like they're all female characters, and then depending on who you are, you get a certain amount of colored dice that you have. So we're kind of just, okay, well, I'm going to be the barbarian, so maybe you be this one, so we get a good variety of dice. And then the cards all multi-use. So one deck dungeon, right? So it's multi-use. You have the one deck, that's the doors. And then you put 3 down, and those are the 3 where you can go. And you're either going to come across a monster or a trap. And you need to kind of resolve the card to be able to move through. And depending on what happens, like it'll either cost you health if you don't complete, or it'll cost you time. And costing you time is you flip cards away from your deck, because once you reach to the bottom of the deck, you've kind of got to the bottom of the dungeon there, and then you got to face the monster. But before you get there, you want to try and collect different things and make yourself a little bit more powerful, because as you go through these monsters and these traps, the cards, now you have a choice. Do we take these cards and take them for the experience point and increase our experience points? Or do I keep the card and tuck it on this side so that I get more dice, so then I get a little bit better with my rolls, and we can kind of cover what's on the on the cards a little bit easier? Or do I tuck it on the bottom and get a new kind of magic ability that will help us mitigate the dice so that we can get better rolls as well? Because like on the different locations, it says, oh, well, this one needs a blue that is 2 or above, and then a 6 yellow. Well, it's not easy to roll a 6. And then a yellow. And then sometimes you can also combine dice. Okay, well, I'm going to combine these ones to convert it into this color. But if you combine 2 dice together, they become the lowest pip of those 2 dice. So it was just so neat. And it has like kind of campaign element to it. And then you'll play like your first few games and then okay, well, we died, but that's okay. I've accumulated this and I have this experience now. And then I'm not as bad as a player, and then we go in again, and then you kind of level up, and it gets played this one to death. Just that 1 week. Love it. I still own it. I'm going to keep it forever. And now, Carla, you have One Deck Galaxy at your house that I purchased around Christmas time. And I don't know what that one's like yet, but I can't wait to get my hands on it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I got a whole bag of games for you here that
it's ridiculous.
I think I buy a lot of games, but I think you buy like 3 for every one I buy. Just happens. Maybe 4.
Should see your
I don't know. Twist my rubber arm.
I've done this game wrong because I looked in BGG because I was sure this wasn't a 2-player only game. And I rated it very poorly because I played a game that's very similar, but it's not this game. So I've actually rated the wrong game. There's a game where you play and you have to basically bet your cards and your equipment to get the chance to go into the dungeon.
Oh, welcome back to the dungeon, or welcome to the dungeon.
Yes. Welcome to the dungeon. So
yeah,
I gotta do some fixing.
Tweaking.
Give this game back its possible glory. So I haven't tried it.
Yeah, no, this is a good one. And then me and my brother, we try to play it over the phone. He's like, okay, well, let's play it. And I'm like, are you coming to my house? Like, no, I'm not going over there. You're too far. He's like, we'll just play on the phone. I'm like,
oh, jeez.
Okay. He's like, just pull out your dice and I'll tell you what you have. And then I'll tell you what you need to roll. And you tell me what you got. And it was ridiculous. But we played a whole game like that. And then I'm seeing nothing. It's like, tell me which card it is. And I'm trying to find it was ridiculous. Like, we didn't have a proper
video chat.
This was... Well, when did the game come out? 2016? This was probably around then. Okay. So, we weren't properly set up. But it was ridiculous. It was not worth it. But he's like, no, it'll be fine. I was like, okay. And I'm just like on my side. Okay, I rolled. I got a 5. It's like, okay. And he's like, it was funny. But yeah, no, this one, I just played it so much. I don't know. There's just something about it that I just love.
Nice.
So, yeah, Carla, you're number 3.
All right. My number 3 it's a word game. I love word games.
Oh.
And this is one of my favorites. And this is Codenames Duet, made in 2017 by Vlada Chvátil and Scott Eaton.
This was on the short list.
What's that? It's on your short list.
Sorry, this was on my short list.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, I love it. It's anything where I have to describe something by restricting myself to like a few or even one word. I just love it. And this is one of those games where it's very similar to Codenames, only you each have part of the grid and you're trying to communicate these certain words to the other player, and they're trying to do the same to you. And the only way you can win is if you both do that. You don't want to get the black square like in normal Codenames, but then there's kind of like a little campaign map that you can go around, and it gives you some easier spots or harder spots where you have some kind of, I think it gives you like some grace in some of the games, and some of it will make it actually harder. But it's just so neat because you have this grid of words, and so I'm trying to describe a certain amount, but I will try to group them together as much as I can by using one word. So say there was a bunch of animals on there, and this is just a simple one saying like animals 3. That would mean there's 3 cards out there I'm trying to describe to the other player. And Usually it's not that simple, because then there's probably 4 animals and one of them they're, trying to describe to me. But it's just so, I haven't played it in quite a while, but it's just so neat how you have different opposite parts of the grid. And it's not like you have half and they have half, because obviously you would know what you're trying to guess. You have a few spots and they have a few spots, and then there's neutral spots and a black spot. So you don't want them to guess those, and especially you don't want them to guess the black one. But it's so neat. I just love word games, and this one is just one of my favorites. I love it. That's number 3, Codenames Duet.
Nice. Yeah, that one was also on my short list, but you lose a lot when you get down to 5. So.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. How about you, JT? What's your number 3?
My number 3 is a pretty brand new game called Sky Team. Sky Team is from Luke Redmond and Scorpion Mask, 2023. I think, it came out really around September, but I think I've played it 24 times at least.
Oh, wow.
20 plus times. Sky Team is a great game. I don't know if you guys have played it yet, or if you've played it.
We can't get it here yet. I'm
you
waiting.
can't?
But Troy had it, and he had it set up. Yeah.
Oh, he had a copy from
I've seen it set up, and I've walked by. Yeah, that's all I know.
You're either the pilot or the co-pilot, and you basically you start at 6,000 feet off the ground, and you start so far away from your airport. And at the basic game, in every distance measure between you and the airport, there might be other planes out there in the way. And you're trying to fly there. You're trying to call the tower to get the planes out of the way. You have to, as the pilot, set your landing gear down. As the co-pilot, you have to set all the flaps. You've got to set the brakes. But each of you only have specific dice placement spots you can place on. So you have to really rely on each other. And every round, you have to maintain the proper speed to either go no spaces, 1 space, or 2 spaces, towards the airport. And then that takes the accumulation of both of your dice. You also have to stop your plane from tipping over by balancing 2 dice every single round, to where if your co-pilot plays a 5 and you only play a 3, your plane tips 2 degrees or 2 steps towards towards their side of the plane, and 1 more step and you flip the plane over and you're done. So if you ever flip the plane over, you're done. If you ever run into a space where there's another airplane, you're done. If you ever get to the airport and you're still too high, you're just going to fly over the top and lose. If you land too quickly and you're not to the airport yet, you're going to have a dirt landing probably. But there's so many different airports, so many different modifiers. You can have wind affecting you. You can have gas that you have to manage, fuel that you have to manage. You can have a fuel leak that you have to manage. You can have ice breaks. You can have all of these different things, and they're scenario specific. You might actually have to fly around mountains as you move forward, or around obstacles.
So then you need to tip.
So you need to be tipped at the right time when you pass the certain spot on the. I mean, it's really cool. It's a fantastic game. It almost gives you that trick-taking game type of feel.
Ooh, really?
with when you're really in the zone and you're like, okay, I think you're going to put a 5. I'm going to put this 3 here to communicate to you that I only have. That's the lowest I had to put there for you. So you have to know that that's my lowest, because if you don't get the plane out of the way with your 2 or 1, then we're screwed. You know what I mean? So you really start getting in each other's head and trying to make it work. So,
right? Like you can't talk or something?
You cannot talk. You can talk before the round, but then you cannot talk during the round. And
this just got a lot harder.
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
You're waiting for it to come? Do you have it ordered?
Well, we can't get it. It's nowhere to be found here. And I've last at our local place, checked the whole board game Oracle. I could ship it in from the States, but
it is so good.
But yeah, no, I'm.
It is so good.
Yeah, awesome.
It'll make its way here eventually.
Yep. I will.
You'll
I have
love it.
other games I can play in the meantime.
Yeah, it's not like we're lacking.
And if not, go to Mel's house.
Hey, Carla has more games than me.
Yeah.
Do you have more games than Mel does? Oh my goodness. And neither one of you Cole, right? Neither one of you get rid of anything.
I do call not
Carla
not
does.
a lot, but I do switch them up every once in a while.
Very nice.
That's a skill I need to learn eventually.
3 in, 1 out. It's not a good system.
That's a hilarious deal. You just have to play 3. Like, technically, I played 3 today. I only got through the first 2 rounds of each. But can I buy this game, please? I don't know.
I'm really regretting that New Year's resolution a little bit here.
You know what? We have to do a little update on that. So what we did for January, well, I think we did it just for January, was we told ourselves we have to play 3 off our shelf of shame in order to buy a new game.
That was only January? I thought that was for the year.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Well, for the year, I was going to change it up. We can play older games too, because I'm down. Like, I've played 24 off my shelf.
Yeah, because you have almost no shelf of shame.
Wow.
I do have about 30 games on there, and then plus expansions. But
yeah, I have like
I'm
164.
I'm gonna be done those soon, so I'm gonna have to start going to my older games. But yeah.
That's your problem. I'm running out of shelf of shame. I don't have that problem.
That's a horrible problem to have. No, that's a good problem to have.
It's still too many, over 30. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
All right, Mel.
All right.
Your number 3?
My number 3, I've picked Splendor Duel, published in 2022 by Marc-André and Bruno Cathala. And this one, like, I find Splendor is one that's so easy to get to the table just because the components and the ease of play, and it's just... it attracts people that are gamers, not gamers. It's just a nice one. I remember my oldest, when he played this, he's like, oh, like I kind of, I don't know, manhandled him into playing a game with me, and then afterwards,
sit
like,
down.
This one was actually really good.
Yeah.
I know. But Splendor Duel kind of takes that game and just gives it a spin, and it makes it very interesting. So instead of having like the stack of tokens that you can draw from for each gems, like they're put out in a board, like in a spiral type system. Like they go out in a spiral, but you can take them all sporadically. But then it adds pearls. You still have the gold as well. And then you're kind of have this tableau of gems that you can draw from. And then eventually it gets kind of sparse. Like they're coming out. And you have to take the action to refill it. And to kind of get the like, well, I don't want to waste my action to refill it. I'm going to try to keep going until they take the action to refill it. And you still, collect the gems, purchase the cards, and then you have the cards that'll give you different things. There's not a card that'll give you Pearl, though. The Pearl has to come from the board. So it still has that goodness of Splendor, but it adds kind of an interesting spin to it. I was shocked at how much smaller the box is, because you get kind of like more game. And it's like half the size of the box of Splendor. Me and Lee went to play it the other day, and we couldn't find it because I wasn't looking in my small game shelf. So we ended up playing just regular Splendor, but this one I think is just... We couldn't find it because I was looking for a bigger box. I was like, we have it here somewhere. He's like, you need to have a spreadsheet somewhere in my house. But yeah, so that's my number 3, Splendor Duel.
That's a good one. That was on my short list. I really like it.
You know what you could do? You could create... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was just going to say that's another one that I found was better than the bigger game, to me, in my opinion. But
Agreed. And I think they get to refine it a little bit, right, on the second try. So
yeah.
And kind of tighten it up for 2 people. What you should do is create an app on your phone that has a box recognition feature. And you could type in the name, spin around, it would highlight the box. You'd be a millionaire.
Kind of like they have at Canadian Tire. Like if you search on there and then the light shines in the aisle, so it's like it's over here, and you just look for the flashing light.
There you go.
Somewhere has it. Is it Canadian Tire, Home Hardware? One of them.
I have no idea.
It was cool, but I need this for my game, like flashing cubby. Oh, there it is. That won't be expensive to install at all.
Nope.
And I need it to be like game specific, so when I put it back in a different spot, it remembers.
Yeah. I don't go here.
Lee said he's like, because he keeps saying he's like, you need to just get yourself a spreadsheet that maps it all, then it's okay. He's
But
like,
the thing is, you move things around, then you'd.
That's the thing. He's like, I was gonna make you that spreadsheet for Christmas.
Oh,
He said, but then you bought 36 games and they're all shifted.
Holy crap! You're killing it.
So,
he's an enabler too. He just keeps adding
Oh,
more
he's
shelves
terrible.
for her.
It
because
sounds
you know
like
what
it.
he says is like, because if you keep bringing another shelf comes in, you know, you can't really say anything if another motorcycle shows up in the garage then. And yeah, so we're like,
Yeah, that's my husband with tools. I go in the garage
Nice.
and I'm like, holy crap. I think he's got more money in his tools there than my collection.
yeah,
There
we
you go.
got like, well, we got more bikes than we have riders by far.
Oh, jeez. Very nice.
So it's a problem. It's not really a
We
problem.
have
And
our-
then
we all have our hobbies.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
Now
Now we're on number
3.
2.
Okay, my number 2 is a big boy. And this
Oh.
is Fields of Arle, made in 2014 by
Mm.
Uwe Rosenberg. I love this game. It's a farming simulation game where it's just a back and forth. You have this big, long board of worker placement spots that you can use the left side of them in the summer, I'm going to say. Or is it day or night? No, I forget. But I
Is
think
it
it's summer,
spring or
winter.
fall? I think
Spring or fall, maybe.
maybe.
Getting
But
closer.
you can only use that side. You could use the other side once. And then if you do that, then you're giving the other player the first player token. But what all these spots are is like you can upgrade tools to, let's say, for example, to chop wood. So you can upgrade your axe and get a better axe or whatnot. And then it'll produce more wood. You can go to spots that will switch your pelts into fur. You can do all kinds of things at these spots, but then there's this whole little shipping section too that you can ship things out on. You need vehicles to do that, like wagons and things, and it's really neat because once you ship them, then you flip them over and they're all worth more. And they, you upgrade them before you ship them. I think it is. I haven't played it in a while, but you upgrade them. So you flip them before you ship them and then they're worth big points. And then it's neat because then when you ship something, you take this, that tile and you'll place it on this like shipping. It's not even shipping. The word is not coming to me, and you place it on this thing, and these are however long that line of tiles is. That's kind of your a big end game point thing, so you can kind of go that route. There's so many different things you can do in here because then there's a whole board of buildings that you can build, or just like upgrading little animal like barns and things, plowing your field, getting rid of the dikes in there, and so that you can put more fields out to grow more things, or you can not go the animal route, you can go the crop route. There's just so many different things you can do in this, and it's just such a clever design of his. And I finally got the Tea and Trade expansion, which actually expands it to 3 players now, which I haven't got played. That expansion is on my shelf of shame, but I will get that out soon. But I just love this game, and it's my number 2, Fields of Arle.
I love Uwe Rosenberg, but I haven't played this game, actually. It's been one of the ones on my list that I want to play someday. But,
you would like this game. 100%.
Yeah, I've only played it the one time, and it was just like 2019, maybe 20. I don't know. It was like a long time ago, but like it shocked me. Like for a 2-player only game, you almost expect those to be small, and this one is not.
No. This is a table hog. It expands the table for sure, and it actually has a really good solo mode too that you can play in it.
Nice.
Awesome.
See, now play this one again. Not Feast of Odin though.
Oh yeah. You don't like.
Come on.
You had a bad experience with that one.
I don't know why, but like the whole game is just like, I would rather not be playing this. And you shouldn't have that feeling when you're playing a game, right?
Any game,
so it's like, oh my god, I would have rather not be playing this. Why did I sign up for this game?
All right, my number 2 is the opposite side of the spectrum. It's about as small a game as you can get. And that's technically because I have the Pocket Edition, but that is Hive or Hive Pocket.
Nice.
I love Hive Pocket. I love Hive. It's just a small abstract strategy game. Very much if you like chess or checkers or anything like that. You have a hive full of different types of bugs, and each of them have different abilities that make sense with the type of bug they are. And the whole goal is, and all of your tiles are connected to their tiles, right? And they're all 6-sided tiles, so it creates this cool little hive. But you're moving your bugs around constantly back and forth, trying to surround the other one's queen bee. And it doesn't matter if you surround them with their tiles or your tiles. Like, you can force them into surrounding their own queen bee if they're not careful. But it's just a very cool game. You got things like the mosquito that run around and gets the ability of whatever bug it's next to, or the grasshopper that jumps over, and the ant that runs around like crazy. And it's just a really fun game. It comes in a little tiny pouch, the small version. You can take anywhere. You can stick it in your pocket, and you don't have to worry about it getting damaged either. So I really love Hive.
Yeah, I call this bug chess.
Yeah.
I call it bug chess because it replaced chess for me when I played so much chess as a kid, and I find this more interesting.
So now, because with Hive, they have a lot of expansion that'll add like extra couple tiles and bring in a new bug.
There's 2.
Do you get that with the Pocket Edition? Do they have those available in mini size?
I've got the pill bug. I've got the mosquito. I've got the ladybug.
Okay.
Yeah, got them all.
Add-ons. I just have the little orange bag too. I like.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And the small version really is the nice version. I mean, the big tiles are cool to have out on the table, but small version's just so cool to pull out.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It has all the same.
I've never seen the Pocket version. I'd like to. I have the regular one, but then just the material that the tiles, like the heft that they have, like it's so satisfying to play.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that one.
Yeah, mine's in the other room. I think JT. There it is.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's small. Can can play at the beach. Can play anywhere.
Honestly, right?
Yeah.
With the type of material that it's of, it's not gonna wreck.
Yep. And the tiles aren't that much smaller. They are smaller, but they're not that much smaller.
Yeah, they don't look that small actually.
No, it's really nice.
Very nice. Yeah, no, Hive is a good one. I lent it to my friend at one point, Mike, for them to play it. And him and his wife played it, and they brought it to their campground. And then he's like, I know, I promise I will give it back. We just want to play it more. And it's like, and they played it so much. They just really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that's a good game.
That was a good one. All right, my number 2 is one that I've put on here because I've played it recently, and it was really cool. And it was kind of unique. I hadn't seen that in any game, let alone a 2-player game, but that was Naga Raja. And you have these stick that you roll, and depending on where the stick rolls, you'll either get dots or squiggly lines, and you can do different things depending on what you have. But I can't remember, I think the dots will become your kind of bid for control to get the tile that round. But then the squiggly line will allow you to activate some of the cards that you have, so you can do an action that could potentially give you more into the bidding mechanism, or different things that you could do with your board as well. And it's really interesting because you got I think it's a 3x3 grid that you're building, and you're adding these tiles, and it's like it's a map. You got these tunnels, and you're trying to connect stuff to each other. And then when they connect to the edge, like one of the main door to the edge, then you get to flip what that's it's over there. And then those things will give you points. Now, careful, because some of them won't give you points. They'll be negative points. And it was just such an interesting game to play, and then trying to get the tiles and then where to connect. Okay, well, where am I going to go? And it's like, okay, well, let's try to connect this way. And it's like, well, darn, I kind of got myself locked out of that corner now. How do I? It was just so interesting. I really enjoyed it. This one is published in 2019 by Bruno Cathala and Theo Rivière, and it's just, great designers, and you can see it. It was a great, and then I don't know what those sticks are made from, because they're not wooden. It's not a wooden stick. It's
dice material.
Dice material, yeah. So it was just super neat, super satisfying to play. I really enjoyed that one. So that's my number 2, Naga Raja.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah, this one was on my short list. I just played this last week in preparation for this too. But yeah, it's a good one. And I mean, you can play cards that will turn people's tiles on there, so you kind of screw them because they can't get to where they're planning to go. It's kind of neat. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Well, my number 1 is a crossover. Another crossover with JT.
Sweet.
And that is Targi. I love Targi. Targi is such a clever game because it's basically a card game, really. I mean, you're just using like a couple meeples, but it's because you get to use that as your board. So it's very, you could travel with it quite small. I mean, you do need the tokens or whatever, but it's awesome. I love how you have to think about, okay, I'm going to go here because I want those 2 things. But wait a sec, they really need that because they are collecting those type of Targias or whatever. And so I actually should go there because they're going to need that. So it's like a defense offense kind of thing. And sometimes I, am not like following along and I miss one thing that I blocked myself out of getting 3 actions because I'll have, a person up here and I've put them right across from each other. So they're, boom, I've already locked out getting because when you put the little disc down to get your actions, but it's so good. I play this on BGA a lot and it's an awesome one in there because it's so, clean and perfect.
I can imagine
version of it on there. Do you play on BGA, JT?
I don't play anything on BGA. I played like 2 things on BGA. I haven't got on the BGA kick. I should because a lot of people play on it, and I should get on definitely.
There. I can play Earth and Targi with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we played a game on there, and it didn't sell me. Like I would prefer to play a crappy game on the table than a great game on BGA. But
I'd always prefer on the table, but if it's not,
because what was it that we were playing? Azul.
Nar. Wait, weren't you in the Nar game too?
Yeah, I was in the Nar one, and that one was a little bit better because everybody was there at the same time playing.
Oh, we played that one live, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then with Azul, come on, Azul took us 3 weeks?
Well, yeah, because you can play. I don't know if you know JT, but you can play turn based, where you have 2 days to take a turn. So we were playing with 4 people. And like,
oh jeez,
but I found it so anticlimactic because I think I ended up winning.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I logged on and it's like, oh, the game is over. Here's your badge. You won. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, but
that's like people and people are like, hey, I play a big heavy Euro game on BGA and we take a turn once a day, and I'm like, there's no way my brain is going to keep my strategy once a day. Yeah. I mean, I can see it and I can make the best decision possible at the time, but to actually play through the entire thing in a reasonable amount of time makes a big difference. So
yeah. I don't know. So I'm not sold on it. I didn't hate it, but it's like,
we played a few live games. Were you playing we played just one, a bunch of us?
Yeah.
Were you in that?
Nice.
What did I play too with Kayla? I feel like we're way off target or off topic here, anyways. But I can't remember now. It's gonna bug me. But it was like a card game. It was super interesting. I had seen it. And I was like, do I want it? So definitely for that, to try a game and see if you want to buy it. If you're, just don't buy on impulse like me, then that would be great.
Too bad. I do. I just buy on impulse. This looks great. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Let's get back to the list. I have one question.
Let's get back to it.
One question for both of you. How are you on trick-taking games? Do you like trick-taking games?
We both love trick-taking games.
Okay. So this one is technically kind of a cheat. It says it's from 2023, but I don't have access to it. You guys might not have, maybe you do have access to it, then I'll buy it and have you send it to me. But this is Jekyll and Hyde versus Scotland Yard.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've played Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, I played that.
Jekyll and Hyde versus Scotland Yard is the cooperative version.
Oh.
And in this, you're working together. So in Jekyll and Hyde, you have a track and you're kind of trying to get Hyde not to get to the end. Well, in this one, you're working together cooperatively. You're taking tricks, but you have a track as well that you have to get to the end of before Scotland Yard catches you. And the way the game plays is each of you get 12 cards, and it has the potions, it has the same kind of mechanism with creating the trump card as you play down the initial cards. And the same mechanism when you play a potion, there's an ability that goes along with the color. Mm-hmm. But as you play your tricks, you get 12 cards, I get 12 cards, then we have to each give 4 cards to Scotland Yard. So we know half of what they have, and we know what we have, and then you're shuffling what they have up, and then they start the first trick with the top card. And then it plays around, and you have to try to take tricks. But moving along the track, we move along the track based on the number of tricks the lower player took. So if you took 6 tricks and I took 1 trick in Scotland Yard, we only get to move 1 space. So we're still trying to balance out our tricks versus their tricks. And it's kind of in a campaign style. So they continue to increase mechanics as the game goes along. So the first time, it's just playing the tricks out, trying to beat Scotland Yard and moving up. And I think you have 3 rounds to get to the top, and I think it's 9 spaces. So, the person who has the lower amount of tricks needs to get at least like 3 basically each time. But then it adds in different things to where if the person that has the lower amount of tricks has 8s, it moves an extra space up the track. So, you're trying to figure out how to get them 8s so you can move a little bit faster. And then there's also little symbols, Scotland Yard symbols on the cards on the 1s, 2s, and 3s. And the person who has the highest amount of tricks, and I know there's a lot of different things, but whoever has the highest amount of tricks counts those up, and that's how far the cop comes behind you. So you're trying not to take those. You're trying to. It's just such a fantastic balance.
Sounds neat.
This is like replaced both Foxes in the Forest for me. It's replaced the competitive version for sure. It's so much fun.
Wow!
I was first time.
It sounds like it does what Fox in the Forest did to Duet. This one does.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Huh.
Yep.
That's
you have that.
So Scotland Yard is like the game you're playing against. Scotland Yard. Yeah. And Scotland Yard is the game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
So you're Jekyl and Hyde trying to maintain your balance, but this game is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It sounds great. Yeah. How's the artwork?
It's good. It's the same as the first game's artwork.
Oh, okay.
First one's pretty neat.
And when we played it, Sam got a copy of it.
Nice.
Due to his affiliation with them, and that's how we got to play it. But we sat down, I learned the rules, we started playing, and I think we played 8 times in a row.
Nice.
6, 7, 8 times in a row before we stopped. We just kept going.
It's good when. Yep.
Yeah.
We did not want to stop.
Awesome. That's good. All right, my number 1 is one of my top games of all time, not just 2 players, and that's Memoir 44. This one was created in 2004, so it's by far the oldest one on my list, by Richard Borg. And I just love this one. I remember my brother kept bugging me to play this, but we were always like in group settings, like, well, we're not going to play 2-player games when there's a bunch of people here. We'll play it some other time. And then I went to visit him and we played it. And then I'm like, army theme, like, okay, great. Like, it wasn't a theme that was just like, I would love. And then I played it and I was so impressed. And it was one of those, like, afterwards, like, okay, I'm on my phone. Where do I find my copy? And it was hard to find at the time. And I ended up finding it in Red Deer kind of by accident. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Birthday present for me. Like, I'm getting Memoir 44 and it was great. But it's so interesting because with this one, the board is, you got the central and then the both sides. And then you get your cards and you have your different troops, like you'll have the little soldier guys, or you'll have your tanks, and depending on the scenario, because it replays the Battle of Normandy, and that's one thing that's really cool. So you have the different scenarios you can set up. You'll open the page, you place them to match the map, but then it kind of tells you, like, historically what was going on and what the objective was, and then you're replaying the battle, and you're trying to be the one that gets their objectives to win that round. But it plays quick. Like, this game will play probably in about 30 minutes or so. I think I'm against long games because of the risk trauma from growing up with my brother. So when it's like nice compact games, I like them. And then not that I don't like long games, but I find they're also easier to get people to play, mostly with my reluctant family. So this one, no problem to get it to the table. It's great. And then you have the cards, and then the cards will kind of control, like say, okay, well, you can control like 3 units on the left side. And then it's like, great, I really needed to do this on the right side though. Like, and it's, so you're at the mercy of the cards as well. And the board looks amazing. Plus somebody, I had joined the Memoir 44 Facebook group page, and he's like, oh, it's great to see you play. I'll send you some components for your game. And he had made like 3D components. So I have like, they're made of like a plastic, like they look amazing. So I have like the barracks, I have like the trees, I have like the bridges, like, and then so when my game is all set up, like, and I take pictures, it's like, it's so pretty. Like it looks so good. But I love this game. I love this game. Now I have since bought Battle Lore, because I hear it's like a fantasy theme of Memoir 44, which actually came first from what I understand, but I haven't played that one yet. But, you know, like if it's like Memoir, I probably will love it. Also, I just haven't got it to the table yet. But yeah, that's my number 1, Memoir 44.
This one you probably wrote down before you even did your list. Right?
Yeah, so okay, Memoir 44 at the top, and what else we put in there?
Jeez.
Awesome. Well, a couple crossovers, but didn't have any crossovers with Mel. But yeah,
I'm a unique person.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played Orion Burger Canal. Have you played that one, JT? From
No.
Uwe? It's a 2-player only.
Nope.
I haven't got a hold of that one yet. You can't find it anywhere. I think they're remaking it and just calling it Canal. But I don't know when that'll be out anymore. But
Nope.
Yeah. No, any others that just made your list that didn't just make your list?
For me, Ashes, of course.
Right.
Ashes, Rise of the Phoenix Born.
Yeah.
And the reason it didn't make my list is because the people I play with the most hates it. And I don't understand why. This game is amazing. It's beautiful. The dice are just so great. I love it. But then, like, the first time I played with Lee, like, halfway through, he's like, I'm so sorry, but could we please stop? I don't want to finish this game.
That's terrible.
So yeah, that one is just really good in my mind as well, though.
Awesome.
Nice. For me, there'd be a few, but Hana Makoji.
That's a good one too.
Hana Makoji's a great game. And then Air, Land, and Sea, the card game, not the big board game, but Air, Land, and Sea, or Air, Land, and Sea Critters at War.
Yeah.
Nice. I really love that game.
That's a good back and forth too. I like it.
For a lane battle,
I'm bad at that one because you like. I should just say, okay, stop, so you don't get too many points. But I could turn it around, and I never do. But I could, like that. Yeah, I don't have enough self-control for that.
And I like the fact in that one you can flip cards over, so you know, they can make a big switch there. So,
yeah, very nice. Very cool. So that was our top 5 2-player only games. Now, next episode, we're going to be doing our Valentine's Day special. And to make it very thematic, we're going to be doing our top Take That game. Which game would cause you to have to sleep on the couch tonight? And relationship crusher. You know what? This would be like relationship test. If you can play this game and stay together, you got a good relationship going.
Yeah. If you can, if you can end the date,
or if you play it the day before, and then the roses mean that much more on the next day. So.
There you go. Get your money's worth. 2 for 1. Forgive me, and I love you. Nice. So I'm really looking forward to that. And actually, it's funny because just at the beginning of the episode. And then JT got to witness just how organized we are. I was like, what was our next topic? Did we discuss something? And then we kind of just decided to come up with this on the fly. So that's just how we roll.
That's how we roll.
But yes, I'm excited to put that list together. That'll be great. Now, before we end all of this, JT, where can we find you?
On Sam Healy's channel, FOBG, the flip side of board games, on YouTube. Really, that's that's my connection into everything. I'm a gamer by heart, and I love to play. And anything I can do to help his channel, that's awesome. And that's where we'll be. So come over and take a look.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's awesome. Go have a look at Flipside. Lots of cool things and playthroughs and top 10s. Very cool.
Yeah, and you guys recently did your top 100 as well, so that was an interesting videos also.
Yeah,
I love top 100s.
Yeah, we did it in the summer, so kind of started in like July, and then we only did one a week though, so we did them. We spread them out.
I was like, it seems like it was late in the year when I was watching it, but I guess I was catching the tail end of it.
I think we started July, August, and September. So
nice.
So that'll be coming up.
Yeah. All right, Carla, how about you? Where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram at boardgamespecialist, all one word, and then I have a Facebook page called Red Deer Board Game Fanatics. What about you, Mel?
So on Instagram at Mel's_boardgame_room. My Facebook page is Mel's Board Game Room. And my YouTube channel is Mel's Board Game Room. And I actually have our friend Travis. Me and him are doing our top 100 on there. And he's hilarious because like he had posted that he's doing his top 100. I was like, oh, are you recording it? And he's like, if you want to, let's do it. So
there you go.
We started doing it. And then like the first video that we did, his first 10, it's like, I've only played this game once. It's like most of your games, like, well, I'm doing a top 100 because I might have played 200 games.
There we go.
He's hilarious. I do enjoy it, and the videos has been fun for sure. So be sure to go and check that out, and then tune in at the next one for the Love Crushers board games. And yeah, it should be great. JT, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for coming.
We really appreciate having you on our channel.
I really appreciate you guys inviting me. I had a blast. So, and I look forward to listening to next week's top 9.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye for now. Thanks for listening.
Take care.